Welcome, Sagittarius, to your October 2023 ethics reading with me, Daniel Natal, where you'll get your Natal chart. This month, there are certain themes that you're probably going to be going through. One of them is you're going to have like a respite from all the hustle and bustle. You're going to have kind of like a nice kind of quiet October coming through for you. There's going to be lots of stability. You're going to have good morale going generally. I am a big believer in being intuitive, so I have these cards here, which I will shuffle. And these cards contain the greatest thoughts of the most illustrious ethicists, thinkers, and philosophers of all time. And I will shuffle the cards, and I will see what messages the universe has for you this month. I'll pick 3 cards at random. And the first message to you from the universe is, the anthropologist describes what is. The ethicist describes what ought to be. Kant. The anthropologist describes what is. The ethicist describes what ought to be. And that's a message to you this month, basically saying that, you have to have ideals. It's very easy. I mean, people say, oh, I like that guy. He tells it like it is. It's easy to tell it like it is. It's much harder to tell it as it ought to be, to have standards and to adhere to those standards. And that's basically the goal of ethics, right? To understand how the world works, how things are supposed to be, the archetype of a thing, right? Like, for instance, the archetype of a car is a conveyance with 4 wheels, and it's supposed to transport you places. And if you have a car that doesn't do that, right, then it's a bad car. If it's up on cinder blocks and it has 1 wheel and everything else about it is falling apart, it's a bad car. Well, how do you know it's a bad car? Because you have this archetype in your head, the standard by which you measure all other cars, right? So that's what ethics is, to understand what the archetype of a thing is. And that's where we get the word ethos, by the way. Ethos is like the feeling that something gives off. Like, for instance, the ethos of a theme park would be fun. The ethos of the Moonlight Sonata would be poignancy, right? The feeling that something gives is an ethos. Well, people have ethoses too. Nations have ethoses. Like, some nations their ethos might be liberty. Some nations, their ethos, like China, might be tradition, right? And so ethics is the preservation of an ethos. That's where ethics comes from, ethos, to preserve that ethos. The philosopher Hegel said that. He said that the Constitution is the embodiment of the ethos of a people, and that the sole purpose of government is to maintain that ethos into posterity, right? So that's what ethics is, understanding what the ethos of a thing is, the archetype of a thing, and kind of maintaining it so that it doesn't go off kilter, it doesn't mutate and become subject to entropy. Let's see, the next message to you is, fortitude is the guard and support of the other virtues. John Locke. Fortitude is the guard and support of the other virtues. Fortitude, that's a great, kind of message, kind of soldiering through when things are bad, So if you have a situation like that this month, you're going to soldier through, but you have to have fortitude. You have to have the courage, the spine to keep going and to do what you know is right. Let's see what the next message for you this month is. Ideals are no replacements for ethics. Eric Vogelin. Ideals are no replacement for ethics. Now, that's an interesting thing, because we were just talking about the ideal of a thing, right? The archetype of a thing, right? And that's no replacement for ethics. Now, what does he mean by that? Like, we can have ideals for things, but then how do you get there? Some people, I'll just manifest it, Well, no, ethics is about making a plan for how to get your ideal, right? You're not just going to magically become a doctor. You're not going to magically become board certified. You're going to have to go to school. You're going to have to get the money to go to school. You're going to have to figure out how to do it, how to create a plan. And that's what ethics is, right? It's not just the end, the ideal. It's the means to get you to the end. Utilitarians just think in terms of the end, right? So if a utilitarian, their end, their goal is $1 million, they don't care if they have to lie, cheat, or steal to get it, right? An ethical person cares about the means, right? And that's what ethics is. It's all about the means. Not that you should ignore the end. You should have good ideals, right? Honor, truth, justice, those kind of things. But how do you achieve these? And that's the practical aspect of ethics. And so these are some of your messages this month, Sagittarius, and you're going to have a great month. And I will see you next time. Remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you want some extra personal ethics coaching for an issue you might have, you can set up a Zoom call with me by pressing the button below in the description. Pick what calendar date and time you want, and we can hash over whatever thorny moral dilemma you're facing. Also, check out my Ethics Fundamentals course. The links are below, and I'll catch you next time.
The world is suffering from a moral decline. We've been lurching from one crisis after another due to a lack of ethics in society. You can do your part now by considering ordering my Ethics Fundamentals courses for your children, or if you're a small business owner, using them as part of your onboarding process for new employees. Employees these days have horrible soft skills. Help them out by teaching them ethics. Businesses lose 7% in revenue due to employee theft. Train a more ethical workforce and save some of that money. According to the Ethics Center in Australia, a 10% increase in ethical behavior is associated with an increase of 2.7 to 6.6% in individual wages. Implementing ethical structures makes your company more investable as well. Make ethics a part of your business processes, or if you're a parent, part of your homeschooling curriculum. Go to www.actionableethics.com and press the button to order the course. Actionableethics.com. Order now.